That were just siphoning your life force, siphoning your ideas, siphoning your joy, siphoning your peace. You were literally their food supply. It's making me think about narcissism. Same thing goes with narcissism. You're their supply. You're there to stroke their ego. And I literally watched this movie last night. It was crazy. All right. I just decided to wing it and go to the movies. And I ended up watching this movie called Housemaid. And the movie was crazy. Because it was about this family, this woman and this man, and they had a daughter, and they hired this housemaid, and everything seemed perfect. They seemed like they had the perfect life. The wife put on, okay? When I say she put on, she put on. She acted like she had the perfect life. Next thing you know, the girl who moved in, because she was a live-in maid, before you know it, things started going haywire. The wife started acting really crazy. Okay, having manic episodes and throwing stuff and cutting herself and all types of weird stuff, right? Come to find out, it was the husband the whole time. He was a narcissist. He had drove this woman crazy, his wife. He was the one responsible for her acting like that. So at first, when you're watching the movie, you're thinking, oh, the wife is just crazy. She's the antagonist, right? She's the bad one. When I say there was a plot twist, it was the husband the whole time. This man had literally been locking this woman up in the attic for days without food, without drink. So, of course, she went crazy over time. So the new maid, she ended up taking a liking to him, right? And she ended up taking the wife's spot. So eventually the husband was like, I'm tired of you. You know what I'm saying? I've had enough. And then he kicks her out. He kicks the wife out. And then he moves in the housemaid. And at first, things are great. Next thing you know, he locks her in the attic. He starts doing the same thing to her. But plot twist, baby. This girl, she had lied on her resume. She said that she was a college student. She said that, you know, she had a clean record. She had just come out of prison for manslaughter. Right. It's given he got the right one. So the tables turned real quick. Okay? When she got loose, she put him in the attic. She started doing the same thing to him that he had done to her and many others. Okay? So the whole time, she was a trap. Because when the wife hired her, the wife actually knew that she was ex-con. The wife knew her whole story, but she played along with it like, oh, you're a college student, you're overqualified, blah, blah, blah. She purposely hired this girl because she knew that this girl would not tolerate what she had tolerated. Okay? So she was right because the tables turned. She tortured him the same way he had tortured her. So once again, it's giving you got the right one, chosen when you're that one. You're her. Okay? Spirit puts you in certain situations. They might have seemed very hellish. But Spirit knew that while everyone else had broken, you were unbreakable. Spirit knew that while everyone else had been defeated by these energies, by these vampires, by these narcissists, Spirit knew that you would be strong enough to overcome it. Not only to overcome it, but to take them down. Spirit was hiding you in plain sight. You were a trap. You were a trap. So I want you to understand that it wasn't punishment. You were put in these families. You were put in those relationships because Spirit needed a vampire slayer. Now, look, fam, I'm not in no game, but it's so funny because I just heard like, Sue. So somebody on the other side, I don't know if you connected to them, but Tupac is definitely significant. Also, Nipsey is significant, even though he was a Crip, right? But I'm hearing on that side, that don't matter. And I just looked over and I saw, yeah, this red dress that I have. So definitely, you know, somebody in the Bloods or something like that. But Tupac is definitely significant, right? So we talking about some heavy stuff here, right? And I called in my ancestors, I called in my angels to protect me and surround me with this information, because this is big. This is big. Okay? Because now you're going to understand why you can't take all these people with you. I understand their family. We grew up together. They're my cousins. That's my mama, though. No, they can't go. Because they zombies. Okay? They're not alive. I'm talking about in the spirit. I'm talking about in the spirit. So the things that you're talking about, they're not going to understand. Okay? Your dreams and manifestations, they're not going to understand. Your level of faith in the unseen, they're not going to understand. Because they're dead in the spirit, and I'm hearing dead to the spirit. Because of the choices that they've made. They've been talking about you, gossiping about you, stealing from you since you were a child. And God has seen it all. They know what they were doing. I'm hearing it was intentional. Because they knew that you were meant to go the distance. They knew that you were meant to be a star. So they were trying to steal your shine before you could even shine. They wanted to steal your light because they didn't have one. I'm hearing they were stuck, lost in the underworld. So they were looking for that light. And then here you come. So loving, so kind, so talented, so connected, so intuitive, so intelligent. And it's like, let me just take. I need a piece of their pie. Maybe you just ate some pie. That's what I heard. Let me take a piece of their pie. I wasn't even going to go into details and examples, but Spirit says, spill the beans, baby. Spill the beans, because it's important that you speak your truth. It's important that you put it out there because you weren't crazy. You see, there was a time when I used to work at this place called Zumba, right? And I used to work for the corporate office, and they gave us a free membership and class to be an instructor as one of the benefits. So I took the instructor class, and I received these materials, and I told my family about it. I was like, I'm going to become a Zumba instructor. Tell me why my mom ended up becoming a Zumba instructor. Before I could even do it, she took it and ran with it. And then acted like it was her idea. My own mama. Okay? Oh, wow, Spirit. They want me to talk about that? Yeah. And when I was younger, there was a time when there was this guy that I had been with. And he ended up dating my sister. Okay? At first, it was like just a crazy coincidence. Or was it? Right? But anyway, he ended up dating my sister. I found out, and I tried to tell my sister, like, you know, I dated this guy. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you really want to have my sloppy seconds. She got mad at me. She thought I was jealous. It's crazy. Right? Because I was trying to warn her that he knows. Because I think somehow he found out and it was still going on. So it's like, okay. But then, I mean, I didn't really want him anyway, right? That had already been like old news. So it wasn't about me wanting him, but I was trying to warn her. So I was like, okay, do what you do. You know what I'm saying? They ended up breaking up anyway. But it was just the simple fact that you even wanted to take my man? Okay? And for all I know, there were other guys that I dated that I introduced my family to, and they probably would have tried to take them if they could. I remember a specific time where I stayed in a hotel room with my mom. And for whatever reason, we all had to share a room, okay? I had my boyfriend at the time in there. We had the kids. So yeah, I'm staying in a hotel room with my mom. And my ex at that time was staying in the room with us. There were a few kids, like my nieces and nephews also. But tell me why my mom comes out with this nightgown. It's a two-piece short set, and literally all of her booty cheeks is just hanging out. Okay, it's one thing if we at the beach, you know what I'm saying? But it was like, we're all staying in a hotel room together. My man is in here, and you come out with like these little booty shorts. But if I were to do that, that would have been a problem. Trust. If me and my sister were to do that around her man, that would have been a problem. I know this because all throughout my life growing up, I couldn't even wear skirts that didn't pass my fingertips. Because she always had something to say. Oh, that's too sexy. That's too short. That's too tight. That's too seductive. What message are you sending out? What message did that send out? Okay? But once again, I wasn't fully awakened, so some of these things I kind of brushed off. I was like, maybe she's just not aware, you know. I was still asleep too. I hadn't resurrected yet. So I didn't understand what was happening. Spirit said, succubus. Yeah. Succubus spirits. They come in many different forms. And my mother was the type of woman that she just wanted somebody there to make her feel secure. Okay? Because the way that she treated these men, not to say that they treated her well, but of course you attract what you are, not what you want, right? But it was more so a business proposition. I love you when you're doing for me type of situation. But when they weren't, she would disrespect them, embarrass them, and all kind of stuff. Right? And so I witnessed that growing up. It was very transactional.